Today I'm talking about the risks of overdoing the removal of friction from your B2B website. This is just one of many things that marketers can take too far, for example replacing forms with diary embeds and chat widgets in the hopes that they'll improve their business impact, when in reality it can have the opposite effect. Today we're going to explore what friction is, what the good and bad forms of friction are, and why you might want to take a different approach to introducing some friction to your website's user experience if you want to grow pipeline and business impact. In website terms, friction is anything that makes it harder for your buyer to achieve their aims for being on your website and for you to achieve the outcomes that you want from their visits. So in the majority of B2B cases, that's going to be a buyer coming to your website and being able to easily learn about and understand your offering. And in terms of a marketer's goals, it's going to be for the buyer to convert and express their interest or their intent in that solution. Removing friction from the buyer experience is good advice, because anything that you can do to make it more intuitive and easy for a buyer to explore and discover the content that's on your site will make it easier for them to understand your offering, and anything that you can do to make it easier to enter your pipeline will improve the conversion rate that you see and the opportunities that you can generate. But like all good advice, marketers have a tendency to take things too far at times and can take steps to remove friction that go beyond making it easier for a buyer to complete their objective and actually can harm the overall business impact that the website has. This podcast is brought to you by Blend, the HubSpot website agency. Your website is your most valuable marketing asset, and so it's crucial that you get it right. We're the specialist HubSpot website agency helping businesses create effective, scalable websites that drive real results. See examples of our work and the impact we've delivered for businesses just like yours at blendb2b.com. Removing friction by making your user experience more familiar, intuitive, and easy to understand, making navigation simpler, easier to operate, and easier to digest, presenting content in a logical order, a logical format that's familiar and consistent with buyers' experiences on other websites, are all good things to do in the pursuit of improved website performance. But removing friction can go too far, and when marketers become obsessed with the removal of friction from their website user experience, they can end up harming their own results. And it's rooted in the mindset and the measurement that marketers are using to inform their approach to their website. Yet again, we see that when marketing is measured in isolation around impressions, visits, clicks, times on pages, bounce rate, and not in terms of pipeline, marketers can get distracted from the goal and optimize around the wrong things. Some common examples of how we see this taking shape are marketers will look at their bottom of the funnel conversion page and say, well, if I remove this form and I replace it with a diary embed where a visitor can book time in the diary of a sales rep directly, then I'm making it easier for them to enter our pipeline. I'm reducing friction from the process. Likewise, shrinking forms down so they only capture minimal information before buyers take up valuable time and resources within your organization, or replacing forms altogether with chat engines in the hope that by removing the friction as much as possible, you're going to increase the business impact and the business results you have, are all examples of good advice being taken too far and applied incorrectly in the majority of cases. Some positive friction, where buyers are required to put in a degree of effort, overcome some small obstacles in order to become an opportunity in your pipeline, take time in your people's diaries, consume your resources, in many cases is a good thing for B2B websites to require. Anything that can potentially increase the quantity of conversions at the bottom of your funnel, for example, allowing people to book time in diaries directly, use chat rather than fill in form fields, and not educate themselves on your offering before they do so, will more likely negatively impact quality before it impacts quantity positively. And that decrease in quality has significant consequences when you look at the quality of opportunities that are generated, the win rate, the value, the time to close, and all the things that actually matter when it comes to pipeline and revenue generation. So by removing friction from the conversion process, by making it as easy as possible for visitors to your website, any visitor to your website, to pass through the bottom of the funnel and consume resources from your sales function, you're actually potentially making matters worse for your business rather than better. Form fields serve to encourage buyers and visitors to qualify themselves more properly before they enter your CRM, before they enter your pipeline. You gather information which tells them and you whether they're likely to be a good fit for what you offer or it's going to be a harder sell. Process and structure around the conversion process creates an expectation that there will be a systematic and a professional process of handling their inquiry, whereas a free-flowing, free-form conversion process where they can say anything and they can get time with anybody doesn't necessarily build an expectation that it's going to be a professional process that's well run and deserves proper time, consideration and merit. All these things contribute together to create higher value opportunities as opposed to lower value conversions at higher quantities. It's not just the bottom of the funnel conversion point where the removal of friction can go too far. Marketers can have a tendency to apply this to other parts of the website too, all with good intention to make the experience better and easier for their buyer, but slightly misguided because they're not necessarily looking at the right measurements and KPIs. Where we see this taking effect is, for example, in call to action language before you get people to your conversion page. It's tempting to make the language of a call to action friendlier, more welcoming. For example, get started, learn more, take the next step, as opposed to being specific and honest about what is behind that call to action. A conversation with sales, a trial of a software or a demo. Buyers actually appreciate the honesty and the specificity around those calls to action, and they result in increased click-through rates and conversion rates, unlike the softer, more welcoming language that represents lower friction in the mind of marketers, such as get started. As I've already mentioned, this is an issue where marketers have the right intentions, but the wrong measurements. If they're measuring their success and their impact in terms of the quality of the pipeline they generate, the ability of the sales team to close it, the win rates on the opportunities created, then it helps to inform a different approach to the removal of friction from the website that's focused on the right outcomes. Reducing the quality of conversions by reducing friction to the bare minimum isn't necessarily a good thing for your sales team or for your business. Having an element of strategic or positive friction in that buyer journey can help to ensure that while you maximize quantity of conversions, you also maintain the quality levels. Anything that's too easy can have the effect of reducing the perceived value around it. Serious buyers expect to go to some effort in order to identify the best solutions for them and in order to obtain the time and the resources of viable providers of the solutions to their problems. Make it too easy and you undermine the value of your offering. Whereas if you put a little bit of positive friction into that process, you ensure that buyers feel like they're being valued when they convert and take up your time, and that they are putting in enough effort to make it worth their while too. Things that are free are often seen as being low value, whereas things that cost a higher amount are perceived as higher value, a simple psychological process from B2C markets, some of which applies here too. Zero effort required to convert, low value applied to the solution. Put some effort in, you're more likely to think the solution is higher value. So marketers need to find the right balance. Friction does need to be removed from the website user experience to make it intuitive, familiar, and easy for buyers to do what they want to do. But when it comes to converting those buyers into pipeline, into leads, and into opportunities, an element of friction is a good thing. Positive friction is a benefit to you and your business because it will ensure that you maintain the quality of your conversions whilst you do other things to increase the quantity of conversions coming through your website. If you want to reintroduce some positive friction into your website, having gone to the extent of removing forms in favor of chat widgets or diary embeds, the solution is relatively simple. Go back some of the way that you've come. For example, ask buyers to fill in a form capturing key qualifying information before you present the diary embed. That way, you're creating the structured process that you both benefit from, but making it easy for your buyer to achieve their goals and aims too. Balance is the key. Look at your website's lead generation function and how it contributes to pipeline generation and closed won revenue. What are the value of the deals created? What are the win rates? How effective are sales at following up with the types of leads that you generate? And use those insights to inform your approach to website optimization, not marketing measurements in isolation.